welcome to Golden Thumbs Gaming. My name is Golden Thumbs, and today we have a very special guest. He goes by the name SkateJordieSkate on Instagram and TikTok. In fact, if you're listening to this, you probably already follow Jordie on TikTok. The man has 160,000 followers. He's best known for his True Skate content, but most recently he's been transitioning into Skater XL content. So there's a lot of fun content already from him and to look forward to in the future. The conversation was great and we dove right into it, so I'm going to start it for you right here. I saw that you bought a skateboard.
Mm-hmm.
Which skateboard did you get?
Literally there's a skateboard shop like 200 meters from my house. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go get, so I just went and got a Santa Cruz, like, I don't even know what kind of board it is. I just got this weird gold Santa Cruz board. I was like, oh, it's like nice little board. I was like, okay. So it ran for 2 days. I was like, oh, I'm having so much fun. And snow, I was like, oh.
Oh no. Yeah, I saw on there, man. You got a lot of snow. Is that what it's like year round? I mean, not year round, but in the winter time.
About
through the
6 to 8 months. 6 to 8 months, it's like that. Like 6 to 8 months in Saskatchewan, that's exactly what it's like. It's very much just like not to that extent, but it's normally like that. So that's why I never invested my time in the skateboarding. Because like everyone's like, why don't you redo your skateboard in real life? I'm like, because if I'm going to do something, I'd rather be able to do it most of the time.
Right.
That's always been my thing. Is like that's why I always thought True Skate was a good thing. Because I was just go pull it up, go play a little bit, go and spend some time with it, and then go do something else. It's about like frequency of practice, right? And that's always been my deal with stuff. Is if I can't practice every day or at least every 2 days, then I don't find a lot of value in it. It's just something that I have to do. Is like, and that's why that was always my thing. Is like it's winter, 6 to 8 months out of the year. So I never felt the value in it until I actually did it, and I was like, okay, there's so much value here. I have to find a way to do it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, with skateboarding, you said frequency, right? And that's what it's all about, man. Because it's funny, you know, I've been skateboarding for 13 years now, and it's been less frequent the last 5 years just because I've been working more. So I still get out, but it's not as often as I used to.
Yeah.
And when you're out there every day, you develop this finesse on the board, right? You're super comfortable on it. You can, you know, and it's funny because you watch some of the pros, and the first thought that always comes to mind is like, how are these guys so good? But then when you think about it, it's like they're out there 24/7,
every day,
you know,
every day, and
they're not alone.
That's always
They've got other guys with them. They're watching them. Like the whole world revolves around it.
Yeah, there's something I learned basically. I don't know. There's this dude on YouTube. His name is Jimmy the Giant. He's like a parkour dude, right?
Okay.
And what they basically would do, what I learned was like they over a certain period of time they learned how to like land on a rail, right? Like with their feet, right? And I learned and I was like you would never expect this to happen. There would be like this is something that would have looked impossible 5 to 6 years ago, but over time, as people adapt and as people come together as a group, that's what happens is they'll eventually come up with things like, oh, we can actually land on the rail and flip off the rail or whatever, right? And that's just comes from just gathering and practicing and investing your time. And that's why I wish like some of these people like you or I, not particularly you or I, could actually get sponsorships. So
right.
You could actually invest more time in actually doing this and not just looking like a bunch of psychos. Because that's always it's not that I don't really care what other people think, but like at some points I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Playing a video game on TikTok. Like sometimes I'll look and I'm like, I wonder. But then I remember people like then I think about like those FaZe Clan guys. What did they do? They basically started from Call of Duty jumping off towers and doing spins and shooting and now they're a multi-million-dollar thing. Like it seems so unrealistic from where we are to where it could be. But sometimes I wonder the things I say, because some of these kids are like we could be this way because Jordie has this much and this much and this much. I'm like this came at complete random. Don't listen to me.
Well, that's the thing, man. The TikTok, the views and the followers, man. It's so crazy. You don't know like what video is going to take off. You don't know how it's going to work. I was so. I mean, I think we were both lucky, but when you shouted me out back in the summertime, right? And the next video I got about, I think that like tripled my followers. I didn't have many at first. I had like 50, then I went up to 150. And I think that jump sort of like triggered TikTok, because the next video that I posted, that's at 2.6 million views now.
Yeah, no, you did. Yeah, you did really great.
Yeah, and it's just gone since then. So it's like, I think it's just something about the algorithm, you know what I mean? Where like it wants to see like some kind of interest from the world, you know what I mean? And then they're willing to push you more.
Well, it's like probably like a dozen to like 24 different factors, right?
Right.
So like this thing, it'll start picking out things, and depending on what human interaction it is, and then like intervention. My big thing, and I spoke to one of probably a mutual, you know Durf Mode, right? Yeah.
Durf Mode, yeah. He's the one.
I know Durf Mode. I spoke to him
originally.
Sorry?
He told me about you before we met. He had told me about you. He's like, my buddy's got like 150,000 followers on TikTok for playing TrueSkate. And I'm like, what? Yeah. So I went and I checked you out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I spoke to Durf Mode, and I came to the realization that I think I'm making people leave the app. And like, when you make people leave the app to like go play TrueSkate or Skater or whatever, then it screws you. It screws you. And that was my big thing for a while. I was like, I'm making people leave the app because
you're making people leave TikTok to go play TrueSkate.
Because that was always my pet theory, because I heard something like, I always have to go back to other content creators that are not even necessarily similar, but Mr. Beast was like, all you have to do is basically just make sure people are on the app or on the website, and that's the only thing you really have to make sure they're doing, is make sure retention is good. And that's always been that's the one thing I held to my chest, because it's Mr. Beast. Who else would understand it better than the freaking dude who's making $1 bajillion?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. I've never heard that theory before, but it's kind of like giving me the chills to think that, because with the games that we're playing, the number one comment is always, what game is this? And if they know what game it is, then they want to go try whatever they're seeing you do. So it's totally true that people are leaving as soon as they're watching these, and either going to get the game, or they're going to try a trick. We could literally be cannibalizing ourselves.
Well, that's the issue, right? Is that because like the reason I was so lucky, and why I'm still one of like the biggest, like, the highest follower count, like sports gaming, whatever, because I follow a lot of different guys. Like those steep guys are really fun to watch. Like the reason I'm in that lucky position is because I started from April of 2019.
You started a while ago.
I started in April of like 2019. So what that would have meant is like algorithm, was completely different than it is now. So like, because like basically how the following page would work is it didn't really redirect to people's interests. It would just stop at the most recent video. So people would just be stuck there, and they'd be scrolling to want to see the most recent video on the following page. And I'd be there because I could rip out content so quickly. Because I could post like, probably like a dozen videos in a day, and then like a few, and basically just hold the, like, it's tough to explain. But like back then, the algorithm was different. Like I could get a bunch like reasonably viral content really quickly, and now there's an abundance of people playing. There's an abundance of like young dudes who just like trying to take after me and you and those Skate 3 guys, and they're just like, and they're like, why am I not doing well? Because like you weren't around in March, April of 2019. Because it's just a matter of like the algorithm stepping aside, and I got yelled at by like other creators because I was technically a screeny.
What is that?
Creator? A screener is basically someone who does things on their phone, like those just like a lot of young kids got really big because like they would do like some weird mobile game stuff, and then like they got like an abundant amount of followers, and then the algorithm changed, and a lot of them got screwed.
What?
Including me, and including a lot of like my younger, more talented like people who who are around me, they were like, why am I not getting the views I didn't used to get? Because the algorithm changed. Like, this is always just going to be the case. Like,
right.
And understandably, if you see enough true skate content or enough skater content or whatever, you're just gonna scroll by. Like, regardless of what the content is, like, you have to have something that's really gonna draw, or they're just gonna be like, no, I'm just gonna scroll by. Because I made enough content over the period of 2 years for people to be like, yeah, okay, this is another Jordy video. Skip. And that's the current resistance and the current struggle that you have to deal with. But like, as we switch, and I can speak to this to one specific person that actually made a good decision.
Yeah.
One of my friends, aliens in my spliff, is Skate 3 guy.
Okay.
Like, I spoke to him just in the comments or whatever, and I was like, hey, he was like, I'm gonna go start doing some this other things, and I was like, I totally agree, because I said I have a year's worth of true skate statistics to tell you to stop or to like go move on to something else.
Wow.
Because he was doing Skate 3 for so long and he was getting nowhere, and I was like, and he's like, I'm getting bored. I'm like, yeah, move on, do something else. Like, go do something that sort of makes you a little more content with yourself. Because even though I think he could have just went by his own personality and his own like memeing, because he's a memer. So he could have like went really far.
Okay.
Still doing Skate 3. But I was like, you have enough talent to get away from Skate 3 and just do your own thing. And like, that's another one. Like, another Skate 3 guy, Skate 3 Tommy, like, he's the same kind of guy. He's like super talented, like older-ish dude, but he sort of understands how to like use his personality. And that's what I told him. I was like, if you use your personality, then you could do whatever you want.
So what kind of content do you think, Skate 3 Tommy and the rest of these guys should be using? I mean, you've moved on to Skater XL.
Yeah,
what do you think is the next step for a lot of us?
It's personality. It's personality driven. It's unifying. It's unifying under a banner. I've tried this, but like, it's not necessarily my doing to do it, but it is my doing to sort of try to encourage people to do it themselves. Is try to unify, try to like get people together, just like what you and I are doing right now.
Yeah, right.
Try to get people to, because my own personal issue with this true skate like community in general is it's a lot of independent like people who clash a lot, and I've noticed that none of the people that I know like really clash, but I know there's clashes amongst them.
Okay.
And that's where like I would come in and say, if you guys unified and you guys worked as a team, because it's an independent thing, but if you guys like said, hey, we work together, we unify, we become like one, just like the Trumanati guys, right? Like if they had like I believe in all those clan stuff. I think it's a good idea, but there's also a lot of clashing amongst that. It becomes like, it's not necessarily a rivalry thing. It's just it's a lot of the guys are just there because they are really passionate about the game. And there's not a lot of those people who are really good marketing guys. I will say like Durf Mode, Owl, like those guys, B47, exceptions to the rule. But none of them have like the marketing sense to put themselves above and beyond, right?
Okay.
And that's been my thing, is like, if you can get people to group up, like, and just have like unity over anything else, then you could have like this big supremacy over on TikTok or Instagram. But it's just, a lot of these guys are just really they're just I don't want to say selfish, because they're not.
Yeah,
I
sure.
just want to say like they're very independent, and that's
a good way to put it.
It cuts them off. It cuts them off at their source, right?
Right. Well, and that's the thing too, is people just expect, and that's, I think, just part of social media is like, people just take it as, I'm supposed to post by myself. I make my own videos, right? But you're talking more along the lines of people sharing each other's content, making content together, right? In terms of unity, you're talking about everybody coming together. I mean, I like that idea where if everybody we create this web of everybody connecting to each other's posts, joining each other's posts, then at that point it can thrive more than if everybody's just playing it independently.
Yeah, and that's my thing. That's why I basically, and like, I gave up on like judging the Skate 3 guys. I gave up on judging like I gave up on like, okay, well this it's because the big thing in the comments was always, well, this could be Skate 3, and I became very resentful to that. I was like, and that's one of those things. That's one of those things that I've sat and thought about for a long time. Is I became really resentful to the comments, and it becomes bad if you let the comments freaking take over your head.
Yep.
It's bad. So like I've learned to sort of not like give the comments as much credence as I do,
well,
like I used to.
You know,
and, like,
that's
like,
something that I need to learn as well.
Yeah,
It's hard to do, right? And
yeah.
Especially I don't know if you get these comments, but I do. A lot of people ask me, do you even skate? Right? They don't ask me, do you skate? They ask me, do you even skate? Like it's passive aggressive, right?
That's everybody. That's
okay.
Literally everybody. I'll go to any Skate 3 creator. Like, do you even skate real life? I'll get like these gatekeeping kids who are like, but you're taking away the views from the real skaters. I'm like, no, that's not how that works.
Right.
But it's young kids who, and generally people who are good, who have like a good like lot in life, don't do these things.
Right.
It's just like, and generally TikTok's not like super mental health positive sort of thing to be doing. Generally, if you're like scrolling through TikTok, generally you're not in like you when you could be doing something else, right? I get those comments. Actually, not as frequently as I used to, now that people know that I'm trying to learn how to skate. I'm actually gotten a lot of really positive comments.
Good.
Like, but
which is how it should be.
Yeah, and it should be. But it's a matter of just, they don't know enough about you, and they make presumptions, whether it's meant to be like malicious or not. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. But these are kids, like they're kids. Like no adult, no reasonable adult is doing those things. It's always a young person who just is having a bad day.
Right. And you know, I'm trying to learn that and work through it, because, you know, I made one video where I said something, and then I had people tell me, "Oh, you're just flicking your fingers on the screen. You don't know what trick you're doing." You know, I mean, come on.
Man. No. Well, I mean, so you get the same that I do. Like it's
okay.
And so nobody is going to ever avoid that wrath.
Okay.
If you're a true skate creator, no one's ever going to avoid. Or if you're a skater, if you're like a mobile skateboard gaming person, you're never going to avoid that wrath. That's always just going to be there. If you're a Skate 3 guy, that's always going to be there. Like, those comments are always going to be there. It's always that those are always in abundance, and especially when you engage with them. And before I took my big long break, I was engaging with those way more than I should have.
Okay.
And I was like these guys bum me out. And I was like, oh, it's me bumming myself out because I'm engaging with them. Like it's a lot of just how you word it in your own head. Is like, oh, these guys are being dinks. But no, it's really just like, okay, well, these kids really don't know me, so like, it's not that big of a deal,
right?
And like, it's not like you and I are like big popular creators who get an abundance of like 30 comments that are like, you're trash, you're garbage, and I'm looking at people like, there's this girl, like Chunky's dead, she's just a big creator on TikTok,
okay,
and she just and she'll be like, she'll do her weird TikTok-esque content, and then she got a Vice documentary. Like,
okay.
They gave her a Vice documentary.
Wow.
And they shat on her. They commented in the YouTube, shat on her. And she's like, I feel really bad. I'm like, and I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I am so glad I'm not popular right now. Because she got roasted, like just roasted, because people don't. It's that lack of understanding of, oh, TikTok's a different platform. It's not Vine. It's something different. And it comes from this whole thing about, oh, it came from Musical.ly, so it must be this. So you get a lot of this. Oh, it's just kids do cringe, and you don't get the context. There's no context outside, so you don't understand like that. There's a whole world on TikTok, and that a lot of these people just don't get it. So they'll just be like, oh, well, it's just full of whatever. Bunch of weirdos.
Sure.
And that's always going to be the prevailing narrative, because there's a lot of bad press from TikTok for specific reasons.
Well, there is.
But like, yeah, there's lots of bad press. Like there's freaking big straight TikTok creators doing bad things.
Yep.
And then there's like a lot of different things happening on this app that just were bad. But like, the alt side of TikTok is generally really nice. Like, the alt side of TikTok, the gaming side of TikTok, reasonably nice. It's all these big creators just screwing up, right?
Right. And you know,
and yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I feel like I made a mistake on one of them where, you know, like you were saying, you know, people they see the video, they don't really have an understanding of the person outside of it. And so, you know, I got these people saying, oh, you're just flicking the sticks. And so then I went and made another video responding to those kind of comments, saying, I know a lot of people say I'm just flicking the sticks. Let me just tell you, this is all very intentional. And then that just doubled or tripled the types of comments. And the part that makes me feel bad is that TikTok is now pushing that video. Like, it's up to like 50,000 views now. And so
you and I are basically living like the same parallel experience, because I'm sure, like, I promoted Owl. I sort of gave, like, I was like under the influence of certain things, and I was like Owl's really good, so I was like, I'll give him a shout out.
Yeah.
And I was probably a little too emotional, and I was like talking about how nuanced he was. And they're like, you're just a little weird boy. I'm like, so in that video just kept on getting re-promoted, and I was like, I wish. And then some dude with 700,000 followers was like, hey, this video's really sad. I'm like, oh god.
Man.
But that was a fun week for me. Like that, but that's what TikTok will do to you sometimes. If you're on it long enough, you'll make a video where you're just like, I wish I didn't make that.
Yeah.
And then like you'll just keep on seeing it getting, because people will comment and be like, you're just a little bitch boy and whatever, blah, 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 blah. and then over time that video will just keep on getting re-recommended. You'll see the thumbnail and you'll just cringe and you're like, ugh.
Right. So it's just like, you don't know, if anything you post, you got to be ready for it to go viral, right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, like, what kind of content are you trying to create right now? I mean, we've seen you doing a lot of Skater XL recently.
Yeah, no, Skater XL mostly. I'm really digging like the multiplayer thing. It's really unique and interesting, because like it's pure chaos, especially with like 20 people in a server.
Are they putting 20 people into a game on there?
Yeah, like it's 15 to 20 people. Ooh. So like at a point, like you're on like Hudland or something, and like there's 20 people, and it makes for really funny videos. If like it makes for really interesting funny videos when you can get over on a dude or something. It just looks weird, and especially just considering just the amount of chaos you can just farm content from it. Like, and I could sit there for maybe 5-10 minutes and probably have like 2 or 3 decent videos, or like overall, and like just be like, okay, well, some of these are gonna pop, some of these aren't, like. But over time, like eventually, but like what I would love to do with that is like actually just like set up my own server, basically set up like maybe like a community Skater XL server, and basically set it up so basically you get like, because if I post something like that and there's enough people who want to get in, like that 20 will fill so quickly. So you just set up a prior. You know how like you know what 2B2T or 2B2T is?
No.
It's like a big YouTube Minecraft deal about like anarchy.
Okay.
But like you basically, what you do is you set up, I'd make a server, and like since I have access to so many people, I'd basically just be like, set up a priority. So like go pay like $2 or $3 so you can maybe get like a priority. So at least people, so you set up a server, maybe just like pay like just a super minor thing, so at least you get priority so people can actually like join the server.
Wow. And
that would be like that means I can at least like make something from doing,
which would be good.
Which would be ideal. But like I would never like charge anybody like actually anything super substantial for it. But I'd do here's like a $2 or $3 for like forever, basically. And go set up like a cloud service or whatever, and just like set up like a bunch of those mod.io maps, and just like have it set up so like a community could just like go in, join, go make some clips. Here's on the community server, blah blah blah. And then go post it back to TikTok. Comes back to us. More people join. More people buy priority. Stuff like that. Just like, and then
that goes back to what you were saying earlier too, where it's like, you know, with skateboarding, if we were able to get sponsors, we'd be able to do it more. And with making videos, with making content, if we could make money off of it, it allows you to make more of it. Now, you're in Canada. You told me at one point you're not able to join the TikTok Creator Fund, right?
No,
has that changed?
Not yet. Not as if I know. So I'm not like I have not made a dime from.
That's unfortunate.
From TikTok at all. Like it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's not like without lack of trying. Like
right.
I've communicated with True Access. I've communicated with a few sponsors. I'm friendly with board companies like those Indago guys. Like I'm really friendly with them. Like I don't want to ask them for anything because they're such a like a small startup. I would never even ask them for gear. I'd be like, I'm gonna pay you to basically promote you because like they're so small. And I'd be like,
Okay.
here, because like I want them to grow so we can actually maybe work together. I just don't want to take from them because they're so small. But they were the first brand to follow me, so I don't want to take anything from them like yet.
Right.
Because
right.
I do like them. I think they're doing a unique little thing, and I would love to work with them. But it's just they're just a tiny little board company with like 3 little subsidiaries, like Wheel Company, Carrot Co, and Doggo and Ice. So like they're tiny, but I love them to death because they're just like little wacky little board company, and I love them, but I don't want to take anything from them. But
right. Well, so that's what it's all about, is trying to
yeah.
find
Yeah.
ways to monetize the content, whether it's sponsorships like that, right? Or, I mean, I got into the Creator Fund, and they don't pay much, man. It's like
They don't pay much,
3 cents per 1,000 views.
Yeah.
I've made like $100 in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, you're doing better than me, man. No, but
so they make it hard, right? I'm hoping eventually they pay more. I'm hoping they expand it to Canada for you. That would be good, because people are doing well on YouTube. Yeah. Have you thought about putting content on YouTube and just being able to monetize?
I did like marketing talks early in my TikTok career on YouTube. I had like longer form. Okay. Most of those are out of date now. Like a lot of them are like out of date and are sort of just obsolete now, based on the algorithm changes. But like a lot of the stuff I was saying was accurate up until the point where the algorithm was like, screw you. But I did talks, and I would love to do more of those talks. But I need to find like what works for me to go back to that. But I considered going back to like YouTube for Skater XL. But like, oh man, like I have to speak to this whole like still back to this whole sponsorship thing. Like,
yeah, sure.
I had a bunch of conversations with like TrueSkate. Well, not TrueSkate, but like their marketing guy.
Okay.
And I had like, I don't know if you know Ruben or not.
No, I haven't.
Ruben Garcia. He's like a former skateboarder. Like according to Durf Mode, he was like really good in his heyday. Now he's retired, right? So
well, that says a lot, because Durf Mode was also really good.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Like also he's like Durf Mode and him are like all like older dudes, so like they're getting rickety now. But what was it? But it was like I had conversations with them about like what we could do. Mm-hmm. And like this is the T part of the podcast, because let me just say that I have zero issues with Ruben at all.
Sure.
Personally, I do have certain issues with True Access in general. Like, sure. Because it's 2 dudes, 2 or 3 guys, right? And they're the number 1 sports app, like globally, generally, right?
Right.
And a lot of it, like basically what I was told was that they're very much numbers guys, and that the numbers are basically the only thing that are going to convince them of anything.
Okay.
And like all my sales that I would have garnered from that, from doing TrueSkate, there was no link on TikTok. There was no redirect at all. So anything I could have garnered from that was basically gone. And then at that point, like transitional sales from me to them weren't the greatest. Now that basically everyone who wanted the game had the game, basically who was watching me at that point. And then they gave me shit because I made like $18 in 3 weeks. I was like, I would appreciate a little more respect.
But so take me through that. You couldn't link? Are you saying you couldn't link?
You couldn't link to the App Store through TikTok in its first year.
Oh,
so you couldn't link to anything. There was no links. So anything, all the popularity that I had, was basically squandered, because
that sucks.
Yeah, no, and it is what it is, right? It's not. It's circumstantial.
Yeah,
it's circumstantial, but it's always been about the numbers with those guys, and like me and like other creators, I'm not going to name names, went to them with things.
Okay.
And it was always no.
Okay.
And we were like, okay, well.
So have you ever done anything with them to see how many people you're driving to it? I mean, now you can link. Now we know, and like that was the point. Like the like I had my link for maybe a month. Okay. They're like, you brought in $18, and I questioned that like more than I probably should have. Okay. And they were like, and whatever. It's all circumstantial, but it's not even necessarily the money. It's not the money at all. It's just
what I've always heard was that True Axis just had issues with like the community, right?
Okay.
And it's always been because the community didn't want to encourage their GoFundMe and stuff like that, right? And
Okay.
that's and so they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and that's why I don't want to do any more True Skate content, because it doesn't benefit anybody but them. Like it doesn't benefit me, because it doesn't benefit the community, doesn't benefit any other creators, because TikTok doesn't like True Skate. TikTok thinks True Skate is just a subpar product, and I would assume because the algorithm looks at it, oh, that's an app, they could be paying us instead, so we're just gonna they're just gonna, and that probably goes for Skater too, is that's just an app, they could be paying us instead, right? And that's and so I'm sure there's like, oh, this is a mobile thing, they should just be giving us money to do ads instead of having creators do ads.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. So your direction is moving away from TikTok. I mean, moving away from TrueSkate. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because like you said earlier, you have a ton of TrueSkate content already.
Yeah.
You think that because it's a mobile game, it's easy to advertise on TikTok. TikTok's not inclined to promote it. And then you've tried working things out with TrueSkate in terms of like creator type of sponsorships. What I will say is, I totally hear you. You had a link, and they say it brought in $18, right?
Yeah.
And what I will say is that there's more than one way that people get to an app, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure you drove more than $18.
Guaranteed,
right?
guaranteed.
And because the funny thing is, when my first video went viral, I had like 500 or 600 people ask me, what is the name of this game?
Yeah.
And I responded to every single person.
Yeah.
And within the day, that app jumped from number 6 to number 4 in the Apple App Store. And number 6 to number 4 is only 2 spots. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot when you're going from number 6 to number 4, right? If you're going from number 100 to number 98, you probably had to make 2 sales to make that jump, right? So it obviously drove like some decent amount of sales, and that was just from me telling people the name of the game in the comments, right? It wasn't I didn't have a link to it in my bio, right? So point being, there are other ways to drive people to an app, and that's probably what happened with you, where only a few people clicked on the link in your bio. The rest of them just heard you say the name TrueSkate, they saw it in your description or whatever, right? And they went just searched it on the App Store.
Well, and a lot of people just go in the comments, oh, there's a thing, okay, and then they just move on, right?
Right, exactly.
There's so many things that fight these games in the algorithm, that fight us for these things in the algorithm, because that's why I think TikTok doesn't like gaming and won't engage with a lot of gaming content unless you have some big niche, right? Because there's people, there's that Crojack guy, Crojack.
Okay.
He was a big TikToker. He was a big TikTok. He was like, the TikTok ends, blah 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 blah, when this happens, right? Mm-hmm. And he made a big effort on quality, and it was like making Minecrafting, and he was doing really well. Like he was doing excessively well for gaming. Yeah. Like there was, and then it became, oh well, now it's Minecraft dream style videos, and all this other stuff. And now it always transitions. Like that's my whole thing. It's like, I was just really lucky to be in the position where I was,
where you were able to post, and there was no algorithm necessarily where it was based on interests. It was just whoever posted most recently, their video gets shown, and so you were able to post on. That's super interesting.
I had a system. I had days, like literally, like everything was working like really well. Like when the algorithm worked, I had my Sunday was my big good day. My Sunday was always a good day. Like I could post at like 4 a.m, like start at 4 a.m, and then by the end of Sunday I would have like a video with freaking 400,000 500,000 views.
Wow.
And it basically it was like my big thing was always find an audio that has like, find a video that has 300,000 likes but has like 6 videos on it, and that's a good audio, and then I would get to the top of that audio. Then I would get to the top of that audio because I had so many people who already liked the content that I would be at the top of the audio, and then people go to the audio page and they'd be like, "What's this?" Right?
See, I haven't tried the audio. Is that something you think I should be doing?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, it's most definitely like better to do it because like it's part of the algorithm, right? Like a trending audio or something that's going viral, and you being on top of an audio page could mean the difference, and that's always been my thing. Like there when that the Tones and I song Dance Monkey came out.
Okay.
And there was this girl like in Noxia. She put out this street video of her singing the song, and I was like, oh yeah, I'll use this video. It has like a bajillion likes. and then turns out I was like the second video. I was like the first or second video on that thing. So like people would go look at the audio because it was a really popular thing. So people would go look at the audio to go save it for themselves. And like, what's this weird little black skateboard thing? And then they would go and just and it'd be like, oh, here's 5 million views.
Ooh.
Because I was like the top 5 video on that audio page.
Wow. And you ended up with 5 million on one video.
Yeah, like
that's crazy.
I think I have 3 or 4 or maybe 5 or 6 videos, 3 or 4 videos with like 1 million views.
Okay, that's over something that I've been questioning recently. Is it possible to get over 1 million views more than once?
Oh yeah.
And you've done okay because
I've done this on a separate account. I do a lot of I do a nonprofit for the blind stuff. Like I'll do a lot of like I basically chair for an organization that gives sports to the blind.
Nice.
And I was just testing stuff out. They play this game called Goalball. You'd have to just look it up yourself. This isn't really the time to speak on it right now. But it's basically a ball with a bell in it, and you wear a blindfold, and you have to try to block the ball. It's a sport specifically made for the blind, right? And I made a different TikTok account just to test things out, just to post stuff and see what people thought. First video got like 3.2 million views.
What? And what?
But there was no content. There was no content like ever like on TikTok that would ever distinguish what that was. So it was a clear thing to do. Now if I post on that account, I get like 3,000 views. So it was just sort of a test to see if I could get some donations towards my organization. Okay. And it worked out pretty well. We got for that video we got $100 donation. So like
nice.
Like so we made a little bit of money from that for that. So it worked out. But like that's the thing. If you can find a content niche that fits your thing, then you're golden. Like I made friends with the Paralympic TikTok account. Like they saw what I did and they upped their game, and I was like, yes, thank you. And now they're doing really well, and like I'm so proud that I did that. So now the Paralympic TikTok is actually doing super well. So they're posting like they're actually trying to be like content creators instead of just trying to promote this nonprofit sport thing. And now they're looking super pretty, and now I don't have to do it anymore. But
this is really interesting how you were able to post one video and have it go viral. Yeah. And it was something that hasn't really been posted before either, right? Mm-hmm. So that part is interesting to me, that something like that didn't exist already. And here's why. You've talked about, personality being important, right, on TikTok. So doing audio, narrating the videos, things like that. That's good. Mm-hmm. Using audio to put you at the top of the results when people are looking at audio. Yeah. And then something that's always come to mind, does TikTok have this image recognition where they can recognize a true skateboard and show it to more people that are interested in true skate?
Yes, I believe so. I personally believe so. It feels that case, and I can speak to that on a different level based on stuff I learned early in TikTok, in my TikTok run, is that TikTok used to basically scour videos for people who were fat or looked blind or looked like disabled in any way. Okay. And they would basically suppress those videos to keep these people from getting bullied, right? And that was confirmed. That was a confirmed thing that happened with TikTok.
That was confirmed? Oh.
And that was like, it was to keep people, like their excuse was it was to keep people from getting bullied. And whatever.
It sounds like more of that okay. Yeah.
But it's that was their excuse. And like, and I have no doubt that's scheming things for like specific type of imagery. I'm sure if you had like a swastika or something, you would probably get banned. Like, sure, I'm sure just specific types of imagery or specific types of body types or specific like things like a cane or like me, like I have freaking googly eyes. So So like they see that and they're like, oh, this person looks weird, and then they just like shove you off somewhere else.
That's concerning to me because, you know, especially when you say like people who are overweight. I mean, when, you know, that reminds me of Abercrombie and Fitch. I think they had got called out or maybe even in trouble at one point for something about I don't know the specifics, so I can't really speak to it, but they were using, you know, the models that they were using.
They were using fit models, and they refused to hire like people who like had like regular body size, right?
Right. They only wanted to hire people that looked a certain way. That was the accusation. You're right. Okay, that's concerning that TikTok, you know, has been seen taking similar actions, even though they're saying
I think they've loosened.
Were different than that. They were still going down the same road.
They've loosened a lot of things on that, as far as I know, because there's creators who are like visibly disabled, who are like very popular creators. But I think it's that point of is this more profitable to leave this person on there than it is to suppress them. There's this girl, like her name is like Wheelerin or whatever, and she's very popular. She's like comedy wheelchair girl, but like she does really well. And I was questioning. I was like, okay, well, if TikTok is suppressing disabled people, or suppressing just like any of these like marginalized groups, then why is this girl doing so well? And I guess her sense of like community, or her sense of style, or whatever she does, is different than other people. Because like it's one of those things where like, oh, if you're a POC creator, you might get suppressed. It's just really questionable. I don't know whether the image thing is real or not, or if it's just words and hashtags and stuff. Right. But it has to be something. It has to be something, because like there's always an excuse. It's not marketable enough to have these people put in front. Like it's always straight white guy with abs, right? That's always TikTok's big deal. And then like generally like that's why I stick around alt TikTok, and I'm just like, I just like my POC creators and my lesbians who do music or whatever.
Sure.
It's just whatever, right? It's because I like that content. It's fun content.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the thing, is they should keep you. I mean, they should allow all things to be seen, right? They shouldn't be holding things back. And it's nice when they have the interest-based algorithm like that, right? So if you have something that you're interested in, you can specifically stick around for things that you're interested in.
No, it's well, I'm sure that's still how it works. It's just really dependent, and I really do hope they loosened up on that. But I know like if you, it's just, I do think that there is some sort of visual element to their algorithm. I just question, because there's only so many times the algorithm can see like an oblong spinning shape and be like, that's a true skate video, or that's a skater video, or that's a skate 3 video, and be like, okay, well, there's a lot of this content coming out, so we're not gonna put this out to more people. And I can willingly say, like, even this week and the last 2 weeks, like I can say for a fact that like when I do like true skate videos or Skater XL videos, like sometimes I question whether it goes to the For You page or not. And it's always been a question for me.
Well, what are you seeing? What are you seeing recently? So in the past, you've done tons of true skate content, right? But recently you're going more towards Skater XL. So in the recent, not considering the true skate videos that you did a year ago that did millions of views, I'm talking like very recently, let's say, what are you seeing more views on? The Skater XL videos or your recent true skate videos?
I'm actually seeing more views on my things talking about real life skating, actually.
Okay.
The things of me talking about real life skating have been like the most, that's a lie. The most I've gotten so far was, I think I got maybe 90,000 views on one of my blind true skate videos.
Okay.
That one of them, actually two or three of them did pretty okay.
Good.
But like it's like that was a question of suppression or not, because they just were the words I was using. But some of those videos did really well. I think one of them got like 2,000 likes or something. Like not like anywhere near my old like stats, but like they did far better than I expected them to do. And like, so that was my best bet for content. But then again, switching up your content, diversifying, like your audience needs to get used to stuff like that. Like me switching to Skater XL. Yeah. It's most definitely like win some, lose some, because some of those kids are really invested in skate, like true skate, like they really are.
Well, so that's the thing about the true skate audience. That is the most passionate audience for any game.
Yeah, I'm like, and it's surprising because those, like some of those guys, especially the people who like are willing to go jump into those clans, like the Truminati or the other one, the Hexagon unit or whatever. Like if you're willing to go that deep, then you're already too far down. Like at that point.
I feel like larger gaming companies like EA and stuff like that are missing out on a game like TrueSkate when you consider how passionate that group of players is. I mean, that group is equally passionate as Minecraft and Fortnite, right? Not as big a game by any means, but the passion of the players behind it is equal to those other games.
Yeah.
It's surprising. I think companies are like missing out massively on on getting in on the action.
It comes back to that whole thing about what how I said, like the narrative of it all, right? It's the it's the global public universal narrative of this is a mobile game where you swipe your finger. It's meant to be played for 5 minutes and then go off and do something.
Right. And it's not reality. People play these games hardcore. Yeah. People put effort into these games.
And personally, I believe that narrative, and I believed it, like, because I bought the game like 5 or 6 years ago. I was like, okay, well, this is weird and interesting. Okay, and then go off and do whatever else. And then I was a little bit inebriated one night or whatever. Had some kratom tea, and then I was like, oh, we'll just play this game for a bit. And I sat there playing, and I was like, okay, well, we'll go play Street League Scoring or something. And I played Street League Scoring for 6 hours that night, and then I played Street League Scoring for 8 hours the next day. And I played Street League Scoring for 12 hours the next day, and I played Street League Scoring for and then I just kept on doing it. And I was like, okay, well, I'm number one for the week in the month. I'm number one for the week in the month. And then this comes down to when did I start TikTok? And basically, in March of 2019. I was playing probably like every day, and I was like hearing about TikTok, and I was like, I go to my friends, I was like, hey, do you guys want to do like a challenge, like maybe do a whole year challenge of who can get the most followers on TikTok?
Wow.
And they were like sure, and they probably each posted one video.
But you were serious about it, and you actually made it happen.
Well, I made IRL content. I deleted all the IRL content, and then I was like, I'm playing TrueSkate. I wonder if I can upload TrueSkate. And then I was like, I can. And I was like, there's no one else doing TrueSkate. Well, there's very few people doing TrueSkate that were like actually doing it for real. And then I was like, oh, well, this market is completely available to me. So I just started doing it like once every 3 or 4 weeks. And I was like, if I do this daily, I can just I can wreck house. And then I did. So, but and then like by the end of that February, by the end of that like March or like February, March, whatever, like I had 110,000 followers, and they were like 350, and I was like, okay, well, clearly I won this challenge. They refused to concede, but whatever.
Do you believe in the idea of speaking things into existence? Because that's basically what you did.
Yep. No, I listen to that freaking Abraham lady a lot, like actually a lot, like that law of attraction lady.
Okay.
Surprisingly a lot. I did like that was the easiest year of my life, and that was also the most fun year of my life, and all I was doing was playing TrueSkate and just getting views, and that was it. I was like, there was nothing else important to me beyond just playing TrueSkate and getting views and just and doing TikTok and like making entertaining content.
It's so interesting because it's so possible, when you speak something that you truly want to do. I spent literally 1 year, 365 days playing Skate 3, trying to become ranked number 1 in 1-up, which is where you have 20 seconds to get the highest score. You play somebody, and so I had played the game for a while before that, but then one day I was like, I want to play a ranked match. I played a ranked match, and I got in there, and I was like, yo, like, there's a rank for this. Like, what if I could climb up? So I started playing it, and I was in college, so I was doing other things, but I still spent like 8 hours a day playing ranked matches. And within a year, I actually hit the number 1 spot. And that was the goal the whole time, just every single day, just basically speaking it into existence and actually taking action to make it happen, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm trying to do that same thing with this, where I want this to become the number 1 podcast in gaming. And I say that at the end of every episode. I say thank you for listening. This is going to be the number. Together, we're going to make this the number 1 podcast in gaming.
Well, yeah, well, that's the thing, because that's the one thing I always I tried to sink into Durf mode's high brain was we need to have like these narrative. We need to like enable these narratives, right? Like, because there is like this hardcore group, and I'll tell TikTok, I'll be like, there's a whole group, there's people on Instagram, there's a whole group, and they're like, true skate community, what's that? No. I'll be like, no, just listen to me for 5 freaking seconds. Just listen to me for at least 15 seconds, please. And then I'll be like, okay, well, there's this clan and this clan and this clan, and then there's this whole other group, and there's these Skate 3 guys, and then there's this, and then they're like, you're full of shit. I'm like, please, just listen to me for 5 seconds. It's tough to explain. It's like it's tough for people to comprehend that there's people like you know how like speedrunning would have been like speedrunning was like, oh, I'm scoffing these psychos just like playing their game really fast, right? Yeah. And now it's a big universal thing. And I'm like one of the easiest things you could do is just transition these guys who are just like, we were just playing these games, right? Mm-hmm. Give them like a FaZe Clan style like house. And just be like, okay, what are we gonna do? Do real life skating, and basically and do video game skating, like someone like Eric Ginner or Milky or like those guys. Yeah. Bring them all together. Bring back the unify everybody. To be like, okay, we're like the skate house. That'd be sick. Just bring them together. Get them a nice G Fuel sponsorship. Right. Be like, okay, we're like a gaming clan who skates, right? Right. Like right. It'd be like Truminati but on crack. Like it'd be Truminati on caffeine.
I like it. I like it. You know what's interesting to me when you say sort of mixing the gaming, mixing the skating, I'm seeing not to be cocky on behalf of myself or anybody else.
No, please.
But we're getting more views and followers than professional skateboarders on TikTok. I'm probably
unless you're Sean Ballas unless you're Sean Ballas, like or Anti Steezy, like yeah. Unless you're like those guys or Julian, like generally, yeah. The pro skaters aren't getting like those dudes, like the dudes that True Skate promotes for their live events. Yeah, like those guys, 5K followers, 2K followers. Right. They get like 900 views a video, 200 views a video. Like, right. You're not wrong. Like, but like we bring in like the youth demo. We bring in the youth demo, right? And that's where it lies. Is
interesting. There's more youth on the app than there are older people. So there's just more supply in terms of people. Okay.
Like in a transition from video games to real life has been one of the most interesting things for me to watch. Is that I may have got some kid that really liked True Skate or Skater XL True Skate, and then they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna start skating in real life, and then they start skating in real life, and that's one of the transitions I've felt and I've saw was that a lot of these kids are like they're moving from True Skate to real life skating, like or they're doubling down on real life skating, and I'm just like, wow, I don't know if I did that, but that's really cool.
Well, that's really good. I like that idea. I mean, it makes sense because when you consider, like you were saying, it's the youth that's following gaming accounts, right? Yeah. And eventually they're going to grow older and they're going to get to a point where they can skateboard, right? I mean, young people we see like 3-year-olds skateboarding, right? Yeah. But it gets easier as you get older for various reasons, just related to physics and your body and your flexibility. So it gets easier as you get older. You're more capable of different things. So it's interesting to start mixing gaming and skateboarding content.
Well, it's
grow with the audience.
It's the most. It's like I don't know if you know who Total Biscuit is, or who he was.
No,
he was like a big gaming creator back in the day. Unfortunately, he passed to colon cancer a few years ago. But basically, the one thing that I took from him was he always say you should look at content creation like a tree, basically. But they should be shallow branches. So everything you do should have some correlation to what you're already doing. So skate gaming content, real life skating, skate house, skate streaming streams. And then like just keep just transitioning slowly from what you're doing. Never make big giant jumps. Just make like little jumps. Make little primitive jumps and just try to move from that, right? And that's always been my big thing. And that's sort of what I've. Because like I'll watch like big like raw energy creative people like Durf Mode, Durf Mode's really raw energy, creative person. I love him to death. He's really cool to talk to. I love talking to him. But like, he'll go from this to this to this to this to this, and he'll get stuff done. But then suddenly he'll get on something else.
Okay.
But it should be like really shallow. And it's like, but then you have someone like with just raw, pure creative energy, and just like go.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, where am I right now?
Gotcha. So staying focused, really, and staying on the same and building
stay on the same path, because if you don't have someone sort of checking you, because if you don't have someone checking you, and the problem is I made friends with like a lot of young dudes who just like look at me like some sort of like deity, and I don't like that. I don't personally like that, because like,
no,
as you know, as another like millennial, is that we're just humans, right? It's just, right. And it's hard to like explain this to kids. Be like, we're just doing content, right? We're just making videos.
Yeah.
Like we're not like any better than you. We're still human. We make mistakes, whatever, right?
Right.
And like, but that's what I needed. I needed someone who had like a similar creative like mentality, like you or Durf Mode, to be like, okay, you need to like refocus. And that was always that would always been my thing. That would have been, if I had to make a decision before, I needed someone to like check me. Right, because I would say this to these kids. I would say stuff to these kids, and they'd be like, "That's a great idea." I'm like, and then I go back to it, and I was like, "I was high as balls. That was a bad idea." But like, it's just stuff like that. It's just like, it's just like those kids will say whatever they'll say whatever you want to make you feel like good. But it just comes from just like being a fan, right? I don't want it. It's just, it comes from one of those things. So I'm not gonna say I don't like my fans. There's a lot of very young, like mature people, but a lot of them are substantially younger, so they don't have like the same experience or the same creative aptitude to bring it out, to be like, I need you to be this creative, and I need you to do this and this and this, because they don't have the nuance in life to understand that. It's cool to have fans, but like you can't be like, and you can't. I never want to, just like I don't want to use Indago. I don't want to use my fans for stuff without it being a mutual, right? You know what I mean? Like,
right. Well, and that's where just like evolving your content comes into play, where you're evolving it for them, right?
Yeah.
They may not know what they want to see, but sort of bringing it to them, creating it for them. Yeah. And that's what's just so hard, where you're trying to balance creating new content and trying to make something that TikTok is going to promote. Like, I just put out my first Skater XL video.
Yeah, I saw.
And it's Mr. Chivalry had wrote me. He posts and he gets like maybe 150 views, right? Like he's struggling in terms of the algorithm, just doesn't help him out all the time, right? No. So he's like, I bet you're gonna get 5,000 views on this new Skater XL post, and I'll get 150 on mine. And I said,
well, that's him speaking that into the universe, though.
I said, honestly, if I get 5,000 views, I'm going to be upset. It better have 50,000.
Yeah.
And it hasn't taken off. I think it's at like 3 or 4. Like, and so it's like, I don't know. It's hard to try and like, and that makes me want to go back to Skater app. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes me want to make more Skater app videos, because you don't know what's going to get promoted. And I mean, here's the thing: is it's like, I don't want to be like, oh, I'm only doing everything for the views. But at the same time, the idea is to make entertaining videos for people. Yeah. And it's hard to make an entertaining video if, 500 people are going to watch it, right? I want 500,000 people to watch it.
No, well, clearly, yeah. You want as many people to see it as possible.
Right.
But it's a tough circumstance, because it's abundance of content. It's an abundance of like people who have already been in that circle. Like, if someone like Milky, that dude, YouTube guy, like if he started doing TikTok and he brought over his audience, he would be the biggest Skater XL creator already. Like,
that's true.
Or Night Speeds, or like Night Speeds. Night Speeds not on TikTok either. Like, if either of those guys were just like said, if they just decided, well, I'm gonna go promote on TikTok, they would easily be because they are coming in with a built-in audience who already understand them and already understand what they are and what they do. We have to build from scratch. We have to build from basically square one with a lot of people, because a lot of people don't know Skater XL existed.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're deep into skate gaming already, not a lot of people don't know it exists. And unless you're like, if you brought in, like, if you did the transition backwards or forwards, I guess, and went from YouTube to TikTok in order to build your brand farther, then you would do great. You and I have to build up from where we were, because you're already coming in from the narrative that True Skate is a kid's game, mobile game, blah 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 blah, right? And then as we have to build up to, now we're building much more unique and interesting content, but is our audience willing to stick with us through that, or do we have to build it from scratch? Because that's been my mentality like recently, is we have to build it from I have to look at it like I'm from square one now, because Skater XL, I have to invest time in practice, I have to invest time in like content. I can't just because that was always the thing, is like when I was practicing, I was having fun. When I was practicing like True Skate, I was having fun. I was investing my time. Like I felt like it was a wise decision, because it was building discipline. I was building discipline for myself.
Sure.
And like I moved to Skater XL, and it's what kind of content can I get quickly? And that's bad. That's a bad mentality. That's a toxic mentality. And that's sort of what I see in a lot of people who see what I did early on and want to replicate it. And it's tough. And you're like, it's not about the content, it's not about the views, but it is about the content and about the views. But it's also about the passion, and it's about like the drive, and it's about like, and that's why I took a month and a half off. I didn't know if I was going to come back. Like I was so close to being like, I don't know if I'm going to come back.
Yeah, it was concerning not seeing you on there for a while. There were multiple times where I thought, man, he is not posted. They were like TikTok was like showing me like older videos of you, because they were like, they ran out, they didn't have anything new to show. They were showing all your older stuff.
It was a mix of just like doing it every day, like, because I posted every day. It was very rare. Like,
you posted.
It was very rare that I'd like, so like I never really took a break, and every time I said I would take a break, I would resend it and just start posting again. So I just had to like cold turkey for like basically I had a cold turkey, because I had to go back to Go Ball and just sort of practice while there was still like sunlight and grass. And so it's like, because COVID and all that stuff, I had to like play outside. But like I had to go and like do something else for like a month and a half. So I did some running, did some Go Ball, like practice, tried to do a little bit of promoting for blind sports.
Good.
And then I come back to TikTok, and like Skate 3 Tommy sends me a really nice message. He's like, "Hey man, how, like, hopefully it's like life's not like too hard for you or anything." I'm like, oh, I have to come back. I was like, you son of a bitch. But I was like, that was my big turning point. I was like, okay, I have to come back. And I was like, and in my comments, I was like, I'm still semi-retired, and I'm not retired anymore. But I came back to that freaking, that dog, the dude on the skateboard drinking the ocean spray. I posted that video, and I was like, oh, this is a cute little video. Hey, I'm back. And then the next day, I'm like, I'm posting 3 videos a day again. I'm like, nothing's changed.
Yeah, dude, you post a lot. I don't know what to do. I find myself posting every 2 to 3 days, because I'm just not sure how TikTok's going to react if I were posting more. You've done it, so you can tell me. But, I found that if I post and then I wait 2 to 3 days, that gives that video time to get seen. And then by the time I post something else, the views are dying down and they're ready for something new.
Going back to that girl I said who got bullied, she was basically the one. Like, she gets millions of views like every week, right? Nice. And her mentality has always been quality over quantity, quantity over quality, quantity over quality. So
quantity over quality.
She would post like 6 to like she posts like 19 videos in a night, and like
and what is the advantage to that?
There's the what's the sorry?
What is the advantage to doing that?
Because at some point something's gonna click. Like any of those videos could like catch the algorithm and then be on their way.
So
like that's her mentality.
The quality doesn't drive the algorithm.
The quality would, but like it's just her type of content. I don't necessarily know if gaming's the same way though. I don't know if you can do that with gaming, because like comedy videos are universal, right? Like either you're gonna like them or you're gonna not, and then you'll move on. Like, but like gaming you have to. It's like young men, young dudes, and like basically people who play video games, young dudes. So that's your demo, and that's basically all you're gonna get. So
right,
because like that's who you're promoting. You're promoting to basically your demo of basically 13 and below and 16 and below or something like that.
Sure.
So your demo's cut in like quarters. So that's
right.
and my demo used to be pretty even between like males and females. Now it's I think it's probably like 60% males now.
Yeah, mine was pretty even in the beginning, and now it's getting to be like 55-45 or like 60-40, I think.
Yeah. But it's where were we? Okay, right? No, quality.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe that to be true for everything, unless you're doing like real life face content, and you're doing more universal content. But like it's just my habits as a creator. It's always just because I don't have ADD, but sometimes I feel like I do, because I'll just be like, okay, well, here's one video, here's another video. I'm just because I really like back when I started, I had like a proper schedule. And I was making one video every few days, and now it's just like I'm making 7 videos a day. So now I'm stuck in that rhythm, and it's just sort of my own personal rhythm, and that's just what I do. So I now because of all this Corona stuff, that's all I've been locked down. Like so,
right.
So
well, and there's more people consuming content, so it's the time to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Do you still get? I have seen you get videos that get pushed a lot. Would you consider yourself right now like shadow banned or anything? I think at one point you said that. But I don't feel like you are. I've seen other videos from you. I don't think you are.
I don't necessarily, but like when I use certain words when I was doing the blindfolded videos.
Okay.
Like, I it felt like it, because at a certain point, like I would get far less views if I use the word blind. I would get far less views if I use the word like blindfold. It worked for a few videos, but like it's I think it's really content dependent, and then those flags come in after.
Okay.
So I think like if a video is good enough, like because like it like a lot of those word things dwell on like, is this video a goodwill video, or is it someone actually bullying someone, right?
Okay.
And when I use words like blind, when I use words like visually impaired, because that's what I am, I'm visually impaired. Sure. And stuff like that, and I have to use those words because like it's just what I've had to use as someone who's been freaking blind for most of my life, well, all my life. So like it's just I don't want to hide that fact, because it's just a part of me, right? So it's just when I use those words, I get far less views, and that's to be expected, especially considering that I knew that would probably happen. But it's really dependent, and I think the For You page isn't meant for gaming. It's not. There's probably specific flags within the algorithm that say this is a true skate video. There's an abundance of people that post this content already, and it knows exactly how old you are because of the content you watch. So only 12-year-olds post true skate content. So this will go out to other 12-year-olds.
Right.
And like that's where 13-year-old, whatever the official age is, right? And that's where you get that thing is it's only gets pumped out of these because only other people who are making this content are young people. So
right. So you think things are more so based on the video itself, not your history. It's more so like you were saying, if you use a certain word, they have to determine the context. Is it bullying sense, or is it in the sense of this is just a story this person is telling? And then they're looking at the video. That makes sense to me. It's more hopeful to think that way. Well, I want to think that way, that things are just it's on a case by case basis. It's not you did something and now you're screwed the rest of your life.
No. It's much more content based, because if you upload a video that's destined to be viral, like it's just destined to be viral, right? Like it's like the algorithm's not going to stop you if everyone's sitting there watching it through twice, hitting the share button, hitting like, and then commenting how awesome the video is. Like if you get all those 3 interactions or 4 interactions, then you're golden. Like there's not a way that's not going to work for you. But it's when someone like watches the video once, moves on. Watches the video halfway through, moves on. Watches the video a quarter way through, moves on. Watch the video, a follower gives you a like. It's probably not worth as much as a For You page like. So it's like you get like a person who watches the video twice or leaves it on loop for a few times and then sends it to their friend and then hits the like button and then comments. It's like it's a mix of what interaction are you getting, as well as because I don't personally like think that like the suppression is that big of a deal as it used to be.
Okay.
But like it's also just a matter of just gaming isn't as marketable as IRL content of like aesthetic videos.
Oh,
Like,
sure.
like it's like it's probably like down in the pile of this is probably mid-tier content that does well sometimes, and then like you get these things where sometimes you'll get a video that pops and you'll be like, okay, that's great, and then then the rest of them are like, this is garbage content, and it goes down to the dregs.
Have you noticed any similarities between content that pops?
Not recently, no. I figured the blindfolded true skate was my most recent success as of late. So like that stuff was just a mixture of like specific circumstance to work out more often than not. Just because because blindfolded like speedrunning blindfolded content is generally a winner for a lot of reasons. Like even like amongst like speedrunners, like blindfolded contents are like a good thing. So I just figured, I'll try this out because I already have these freaking blindfolds anyway, so I might as well try it. But that was and now that I really don't want to be doing any more true skate, like it's sort of an out of the question to continue it. But it's tough to say because the algorithm's so opaque. Like you don't know.
Right.
You don't know. You can guess. And like I follow people who like will talk about the algorithm a lot, and I'm sure talking about the algorithm probably puts you farther down the algorithm. So like I'm sure it's always an uphill battle unless you're a straight white male dancer or a female who's beautiful. Like you have to really be like funny or interesting or put out just something. Like it's tough because it's about like understanding the nature and the culture of TikTok in general. Like you have to just be like, okay, well, this audio does really good and this audio has this specific context, so can I make this context in a skate game? If not, like, because it's about understanding TikTok culture as well. Like there is a culture, there's like a general vibe, like right now it's that freaking I hate it so much, I hate that thing so much. It's like there can never have two pretty best friends, and it's always the freaking it's like every third video is like pretty best friend, and it's always starts with some dumb story, and then it turns out pretty, and I'm just like I want to die, but that's the vibe right now. So you try it out anyways, and that's the big deal now is that one. That's the current big vibe, and that's sort of what I get from the whole thing is that. You follow these trends, you'll probably do okay, but you're sort of better off like create like just like an old YouTube, as I said earlier, is that you're better off just like trying to get a unit of people together, and just like because that
would make the most sense.
It's always mixing your audiences. It's old YouTube, it's old content creation tactics brought to the modern day is just gather people that are all popular together. That's like, oh, John Moss and those beard guys, Iron Sanctuary and Beer Bong John, like they all gather together, they all make content together, and they share their audience, they get more views. It's the land of YouTube has told this story 10,000 times already, and it works.
Yeah,
it's just gathering these people together, and that's my big deal is. You get these people, you bring them together, bring like a bunch of young men in, like a bunch of like young creators in or whatever.
Yeah.
And just these, or bring them into like a Discord, but like, and just say, just make content together, make videos together, unify. And then you're bringing your audiences together, and then you're creating like the skateboard, the gaming skateboard, the skateboard gaming cinematic universe or whatever.
Right. I like the idea. I think I mean, it works, right? It works. You put me on. You did you shout out 3 Tommy too? Did you help put him on, or was he already doing his thing before you guys met?
He had like, I think when I saw him, he had about 5K followers, and then I gave him a bunch of shout outs. I gave him like an excessive amount of shout outs. Like,
okay,
like I like him. He's a cool dude.
And he's growing a lot now.
He's a cool dude. He's an exceptional personality, and that's what I told him. I just told him. I told him in like TikTok DMs. I was like, just like invest in your personality. Just do it. Because he's a really nice guy. Like he's really nice. Like he's a genuine human being. And I was just like, just invest in your personality and just do it. And now he's sort of making content he enjoys. He's making content that he likes, and he's growing. And the thing, and I look at like someone like aliens, like he's like he's transitioning content, but he'll get like super duper viral videos because he can be like a heel. He can be the bad guy. He can be that guy. Like he's not a bad guy. He's a really nice guy.
Right.
Based on my interactions, but he can be the heel. He can be the evil guy. He can be the mean guy. Alien's not a bad guy. But it's he can play the troll. He can play the memer. And like in this character and I see it and I'm like, aliens could be one of the biggest skate gamers on TikTok. He could be like the Keemstar of TikTok, and not Keemstar of TikTok, but he could be like he's got this capability to troll, and like and it's this mix of like having someone like Tommy, who's just like this nice genuine like John Cena like person, and then you have someone like
the John Cena of Skate 3.
and he has like then there's aliens who's this like master troll like who can play like the bad guy. And I just feel there's so much narrative that's just not being seen because everyone's working on like their own independent content, and that's what I want. I want like a FaZe Clan versus like a 100 Thieves, but it's all just skate content creators. It'd be so wonderful,
right? Well, I'm hoping that this podcast can sort of be a place of unity, right? Where I don't want
that's what I want.
I don't want this to be I want every podcast to have an episode. I want every episode to have people on, right?
Yeah.
And Skate 3 Tommy, I want him on in one of the upcoming episodes. So I'm going to be reaching out to him about that, bringing him on. Who else do you think I should bring on here?
I would try to get aliens. I would get Durf Mode most definitely. I would get Owl, B47. I would try to get Night Speeds or Milky. Those guys are a little bigger, but I would try to get them.
I like Night Speed. I forgot. Milky's definitely on my list. I forgot about Night Speeds.
Night Speeds. I would try to get. Like if you want me to be a co-host, I'm most gladly. I would want to talk to those guys as well.
Okay. I mean, we can totally have you on. Absolutely. Dude.
But like it's a matter of like just mixing the cultures together because this is my bugbear is that everyone's so independent in their feeling about like because skating is an independent thing, like it's an individual thing, but I tried before I took my break. I was like team unity. That's all I wanted. It was just like I wanted everyone to like sort of just start getting the mindset of group up, and just get yourselves into a place where there's 3 or 4 of you maybe, or like 5 of you, and just distinguish yourself as we are the skate gamers on the internet.
Right.
And then it solidifies and it creates this narrative. It creates the narrative that we are something legitimate instead of just some flash in the pan like sort of deal, right? and like listening to Durfmo talk about all this crap that happened in the history, like in like the true skate community. I'm like there's so much good stuff here.
Yeah.
And it's just not being told. It's not being spoken to.
That's what will be nice about having him on. If you want to come on when I bring him on, we can definitely do that.
Yeah. It's because there is so much definitive narrative that's just not being spoken to because it's all in the rafters. It's all in like the shadows. Like all this crap happens, and it's just like any internet community. It all happens, and then no one speaks of it ever again. And then you hear through the grapevine that this and this and this and this happened, and then and that's why I have a little bit of resentment towards True Skate because certain people told me that True Skate guys are sort of dinks. It's one of those things. because there's so much narrative and there's so much like story that's just not being spoken to, and that's what I because I've invested so much emotional energy into just skate gaming in general. I see it and I can feel it, and
Yep.
I feel all this crap happening underground, and it's like all these vibrations are happening at once, and all I feel is like there's so many stories that just aren't being told.
Good.
And there's so many just like things that just are just under the surface that just need to come out. And if they came out, people would understand why people are as psychotic as they are about these fucking games.
We're gonna bring them out. We're gonna bring them out.
Yeah.
This is the place to do it. And I think that by having everybody on, it's an opportunity for us to all just sort of share those stories and to bring people to hear those stories. You know what I mean? Will you share like the profile for that alien? You said his name is
Aliens in my spliff. He's
okay.
Aliens period.
His like profile.
Period. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you because he doesn't speak. He doesn't speak. He just uses text. But he understands TikTok culture. He understands who he's looking at, and that's why I'm so impressed with him, because like a lot of people are like, they're just normal guys. They're normal guys. Like they don't. I don't know if Aliens is a character. If that's they aren't. They're very nice. They're very nice. I will say that. That's me. That's me pulling the. That's me. What's the wrestling word? I can't remember the word. But that's me saying that they are very nice. But cool. There's it's the amount of like trolling that they can do. That just makes me impressed with what they do. It's just because they'll be like, oh, they'll make a video and it just touches a nerve with all these like young dudes, and they're like, haha, that's funny, and 100K likes or whatever.
Wow.
And like well, maybe not 100K, but he gets a lot. He gets like a lot.
Sure. He pops off.
And that's the one I'm really impressed with. Like it's that's the thing. I have to appreciate these people, and I can't look at them as enemies. You can't look at any of these guys as enemies, right? Because when you do, you're cutting off like that source. You're cutting off like all this extra power, all this extra all these additional engines that could just go in everybody else's favor. This could work out for all of us if we can just get everyone together. Like if we could just get like I say, get a crowd of like between like 21, between like 18 and like 30, like between like people in that sort of that age range. People can sort of get along because we're all the same. And like basically, what my idea was, I don't know if you ever saw that video that I made about Shredfest. But I
definitely I remember you talking about that in your videos.
Basically what I would want to do is basically gather as many of like these reasonably sized creators, bring them all together, do like a Twitch stream, like go rent a house or go rent an Airbnb, do streams, just like do like a week or something of like a creator marathon sort of, just of skate gaming creators. Bring in like those Tony Hawk guys too, like the Tony Hawk speedrunners and like stuff like that, and just be like, okay, we're gonna have this skate gaming marathon. We're all gonna try skating. Those of us who haven't, we're gonna learn from the guys who actually know. We're gonna make we're gonna make content, and then what do you have? You have a crew, you have a crowd, you have like investment, emotional investment, and a lot of these guys do it for fun, whatever, right? And then there's you and I, who are just like psychopaths, who are just like, yeah, we want this to be something bigger. We want this to be something more.
I mean, we understand marketing and how to market ourselves on there. I mean, it's funny talking to you because you have such a marketing mindset, and that's actually what I do for a living, like in my career. So for me, it comes more like, naturally, and for you, it's very natural. It's funny. I love talking to people with a marketer's mindset, what I mean? Because that's just how I am as well.
I love how you're like, one of our first conversations, you're like you started mentioning Vaynerchuk, and I was like, yep, Vaynerchuk, yep.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I brought that up. I know. I said, because I saw how much you were posting. I was like, dude, you're taking that Gary Vee approach, and it stands out because not many people do it. You know what I mean? Not many people actually do it.
It's just like, in my time when I was taking my break or whatever, like it would keep coming back up, and it would keep popping back up in just really specific ways. I'll get kids asking me, are you okay? Are you fine? Are you okay? And I'd be like, and I just like, if I answer them, I'm gonna come back. If I answer them, I'm gonna come back. If I answer them, I'm gonna come back.
Sure.
So I just ignored everybody. Then Tommy sent me that message, and it's like, I have to come back now. I have to just like be like, I'm done. If I don't come back, I'm gonna regret it. If I don't, like, because I was having fun just like not doing it. just
right,
because I needed that time away. I needed the break because of just the frequency that I did. I needed to just walk away. Otherwise, it would have been just a I would have self-destructed. Like, I would have self-destructed in a different way, because like it's just my focus needs to be on something else completely and fully. And that, and being a chair for an organized for a chair for a nonprofit, I have to just be 100% in on it, like, for at least a little bit of the time.
right.
Especially considering that that it is a vulnerable sector, so I need to be like on the ball for things, because it is for the blind. So,
Sure.
so I had to give my time away, and then the question came up is, do I come back? Do I invest? Do I come back? And I was like, no, I'm not going to come back. No, I'm not going to come back. No, I'm not going to come back. And then I got one message from a kid. Then I got another message from a kid, and I was like, where are you? Are you okay? And like, then I started.
Real fans.
Yeah, real. Well, yeah, like yeah, some of these kids I talked to for a long time on Discord. Like, they'll be like, "Are you okay? I'm worried about you." I'm like, "I'm." And if I answered them, I'd be back earlier than I wanted to. And then like I look at my TikTok. I was doing that parasport thing. I wasn't really like looking at my own TikTok. And I came back and I was looking at stuff, and Tommy's like, I got featured on ESPN for something. I was like, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was wild. He told me about that too. I want to talk to him more about that. I want to find out.
That's impressive. But I have no idea. He just told me that, and then I came back. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. And then he's like, how are you doing? I hope life's not treating you too badly. And I'm just like, oh, I need to come back now. Yeah. So then I jumped back on the wagon, and now I'm an addict.
right. I don't think there's any problem with taking a break, and I mean, everybody's glad to see you back. I mean, because you're an OG.
In this short period of time where like 2 years dictates that, but like, yeah, well, it's such an odd thing, because like it's that sort of imposter syndrome thing. You're like, okay, well, these kids are calling me a celebrity, and I don't feel like a celebrity. And then I think
we experience all the things that a celebrity does, right? Where it's the ups and downs with popularity in terms of the video, related to video views, right? But then you also get the hate, right? We get those comments where people question things. They have their own idea. We get the same. I think on a much less, right? On a much lower scale, we get the same experiences, right? So.
Yeah, no, we're living, like, all of us are like, everybody who's doing skate gaming is living a very parallel lifestyle.
Yes.
Regardless of circumstances, we're living a very parallel lifestyle with the NPCs that come into our lives that say the same bullshit over and over and over again. No, for real though, it's nice to be back, but it's even nicer to understand that there's people like yourself who get it to the point where it's where like there is bigger, more fine goals,
right?
And it's like in a lot of, like it is just like a psychopath's mentality. It is it's just like we have to, it's just like, this is a direct focus of ours.
Yeah.
And it's such a specific focus that people don't understand, and that's sort of the draw for you and I, is that it's just it's so specific that you just you get it intuitively. I get it intuitively, and everyone else is like, what's wrong with you?
It's the truth, man. It's the truth.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I want to bring you back on here. I'm going to bring you back on when I talk to Durf Mode.
I would love it. I'll probably have to text him maybe at some point. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah, same here. I'll be hitting him up shortly, but thank you for joining me on here, man. This has been phenomenal.
I know, I appreciate it. Like I woke up from my nap. I was like, oh, I have to go do a podcast, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad I did. I'm so, because it is just like there are so many things, and I'm glad that we have each other in each other's corners about this whole thing, because it's a unique experience that you can share with like other people, and that's the big deal, is that once you find your crowd. And like I will speak to this. I will speak to one last thing. When I spoke to Durf Mode, when I spoke to Durf Mode, I can speak to this about you too, is I've never felt more comfortable talking to people than talking to the people who play skate games. Like, I've never felt more comfortable than talking to you or talking to Durf Mode, because speaking to my lifestyle, like I would like maybe have a little bit of weed or whatever, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and then Derf Mode would start texting me, and I'd get a little uncomfortable, and then we'd start chatting, and it'd be like as if everything just like sort of mellowed out, as if the vibration just sort of like aligned, and everything just felt like right, and like that's my thing is like you find people who have the same interests as you, and everything just becomes real easy, right? And that's what I felt when I talked to Riffmo, and that's what I feel like talking to you, is that and that's sort of the mindset. The mindsets are very similar, and especially coming from people who just have this intuitive mindset towards just skate video games, very specific, but like we talk to each other, and it's as if we've known each other for a while. It's so weird. But yeah,
that's what happens when you bring two like-minded people together, man.
Yeah.
People who are on the same,
wavelength. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just those things where you're like, I feel really comfortable in this environment. It's so weird, but like it feels right, and that's one of those things that like 90% of people, like 99% of people aren't gonna understand unless they have some crazy hobby that someone else does, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's basically my mentality, and I've held that with those Derf Mode conversations. I was like, Derf Mode makes me feel comfortable, and in this conversation has been very comfortable for me. So I can't complain at all. So
yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Where can people find you, man? Online, SkateJordieSkate, right?
SkateJordieSkate, basically on everything. Twitter's basically inactive. Instagram very rarely. TikTok very frequently. YouTube very, very, very infrequently. I guess not at all. It's inactive too. So yeah, So
perfect.
Yeah.
Dick, dude. All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. This has been another episode of Golden Thumbs Gaming, and again, thank you, Jordy, for joining us, man. This has been a lot of fun. Together, man, we're gonna make this the #1 podcasting game.
That'd be wonderful. That'd be a joyous occasion.
We're gonna speak it into existence.
We'll crack the bubbly. Let's go.
There you go, man. Alrighty, man. I'll talk to you.